Okay, so we're continuing in Masechet Pesahim Perek Bet, Mishnah Gimel. So the case here goes as follows. Let's say somebody, a Jewish person, needs a loan before Pesach. So he finds a non-Jewish friend and he asks him for a loan, let's say $10,000. And the non-Jewish guy says, no problem, but I want collateral. So the Jewish guy says, okay, you know what, I have a very expensive bottle of whiskey, Hametz, and he says, I'll give this to you. It's a $10,000 bottle of whiskey. You hang on to it, and I'll borrow the money from you. The guy says, no problem. So now, what happens is that, let's say the guy goes through Pesach, he sells his chametz, but he forgets about the collateral chametz bottle that he gave to the goy to hold on to. And a few days after Pesach, the guy says, the Jew says, I have money for you, Mr. Goy, here, there's $10,000. And he gets the whiskey back. He says, oh my gosh, I never sold this chametz. Can you get the chametz back or not? So the Mishnah says, Nochri, shehilva et Israel al chemtzo. A Goy that lent money to a Jew on his chametz, meaning as his chametz was a collateral. Achara Pesach, mutar bahana. After Pesach, you are allowed to benefit from it. Why? So the reasoning is that he is holding this bottle of whiskey. If you don't pay up that money, then he owns that whiskey. It's his. So therefore, in a way, it's like it was his over Pesach. Because it could have been his if you didn't pay it back, it's like it's his over Pesach, and therefore now that Pesach is over, you paid back the money, it comes back to your ownership. Therefore, you're allowed to use it. But the opposite case would be Asur. The Israel. Let's say a Jewish guy lends a non-Jew money, and the non-Jew gives the Jew a bottle of whiskey to hold on to. After Pesach, it's asur to benefit from it. So let's say the Jewish guy, he sold his chametz, he forgot about this bottle, he didn't sell this bottle, he felt maybe it doesn't belong to me, it's the goy's, it's just mine because it's collateral. Now the goy pays him back, he gives back the bottle to the goy. The goy says, you know what, thank you so much for the deal. Let's open this bottle, let's have a l'chaim, right? So then he realizes that, hold on a second, this was chametz she'abar al Pesach. And he calls the rabbi, he says, no, it's a Mishnah, so you can't benefit from it. Why? You didn't sell it in your chametz, and it could have been yours if the goy didn't pay you back, that could have been yours. And therefore, the Jew can't benefit from that chametz. Chametz shenafla alav mapolet, harehu kimvoar. Lo alenu, we recently experienced the earthquake in Turkey, unfortunately, and unfortunately, many people passed away. So I don't want to make light of it, but also, let's say, just using for an example, also let's say under the rubble is chametz. Let's say a guy had a storage house of some good whiskeys or whatever, and say he was in a metal safe because he had a good whiskey in there. So he's like, even though the whole building fell on it, it's for sure like alive and well in there, that bottle of whiskey. So now it's he owns the whiskey there, but he can't get to it, and he has to get rid of his chametz. So harehu kimavoar. It's as if it's burnt away. It's as if it's gone. No one could get to it. It's as if it's gone. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, he adds to this, as long as a dog can't dig and get it, then it's considered gone. And the amount is here 3 tfachim. So a tefach is about 10 centimeters, about 30 centimeters. That's how much we say a dog can dig down. And if a dog can't get it, then it's a goner. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, next Mishnah. A little bit of a topic that we were talking about before. Ha'ochel terumat chametz b'Pesach b'shogeg mishalem keren v'chomesh. Let's say someone ate on Pesach teruma, and this teruma happened to be, now he's a Yisrael, only a Kohen can eat teruma. He eats teruma and chametz. This teruma was chametz, and he eats it on Pesach. He eats it accidentally. So accidentally means even if he ate the chametz on purpose, I know this is chametz, I know this is wrong, and he eats it on Pesach, but he didn't know it was teruma. He said, afterwards, it was also teruma? And I thought it was only getting one avera of chametz. That's also teruma? So meshalem keren v'chomesh. He has to pay the amount that it cost plus an additional 20%. And the reason for this is for when a person eats teruma accidentally, it belonged to the Kohen, it didn't belong to me, and it was accidental, then you have to owe Keren v'chomesh. So you're paying this because of the teruma, not because of the chametz. Because chametz on Pesach has no value. If this Jew owns it, you're not allowed to own it on Pesach. So it's no value. So you don't pay for the chametz, but you're paying for the teruma. But if you did it b'mezid, if you did it on purpose, if unfortunately it says, I know this is chametz, I know this is teruma, and he eats it on purpose. Patur mitashlumim umidme'etzim. You don't have to pay any payment. You don't even have to pay the payment for this teruma. If let's say it was tameh, you're allowed to use it for the burning of your fire to warm up your house. Even that you don't have to pay for. So now why don't you have to pay? You did it all on purpose. So the answer is, you learned this in the Gemara Shiur, a concept called kimle b'derabba mineh. When you have two punishments, Hashem gives the person a leniency and says, you get the worst punishment. You don't have to get both. There's a worse punishment sometimes and a lesser punishment. So you're not going to get both. You get the worst one. So if a person eats teruma on purpose, I know this is teruma, I'm a Yisrael, I don't care, and he eats it on purpose, the punishment is chayav mita bidei shamayim, that it's a death penalty in heaven, a spiritual death penalty. There's another spiritual problem, which is karet. Person eats on Yom Kippur, the punishment is karet. You eat chametz on Pesach, karet. So that's a spiritual cutoff. And then there's a spiritual death. Even though we learned in our Gemara that opinion is if you have a spiritual thing, you're not, you still have to pay a physical thing on this world. This opinion is if you get a punishment which is a spiritual, which is worse than the $100 payment that I have to pay. So he says you still are getting a worse punishment, so you don't have to pay the payment. So this person that ate on purpose, teruma, he's going to get a spiritual death penalty, whatever Hashem has in store for this person. So you don't have to pay that $100 payment. But a person that ate it by accident, it was accident. Hashem says, I understand, accidents are accidents. You still have to pay though the amount that you ate plus the 20% on top of it. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashya אומר רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך יתברך להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר